You might just have high standards that you need to lower down, girly. Like, I feel like nowadays, we all have this whole ass bucket list that we're looking for whenever we're looking for a partner or love. And it's honestly unrealistic sometimes, most of the times, a lot of the times. And there's plenty examples of that online, which girls, women, men want certain things that are not very realistic, or they either want too much out of someone, which is not very real. We all have our struggles and we all have our flaws at the end of the day. And if you want real connection in your real life, you will have to accept that people are flawed just as you are. You can't have all these high standards if you can't reach them. And if you're not there, then why are you expecting your partner to be there? And if you have a certain flaws, why do you expect your partner to not have any of those flaws or any of that past you might not want them to have or anything like that? We need to lower our standards, girlies. This is not about not having any standards at all. I'm just saying that we have so many things we want to fulfill in our life that we require from other people, which is not very realistic. Like, I want a boyfriend who is 6 feet tall, who makes a lot of money, who's very, very handsome, specifically blue eyes or whatever. We have so many wishes that we want from partners, and eventually we try and we never find what we're looking for because it's not very realistic. It's not real life. We're just convincing ourselves to find things, to have this and that, and I want this as well, and I can't live without that. And it's not real life. It's not a fairy tale. We watch romance movies and people falling in love with each other, and it's like, oh, they suit each other so well because that's written characters. They were written by a person. And real life is not a story. It's authentic and it's messy as well. You won't find a person who doesn't have a past, who doesn't have their mistakes, who doesn't have their flaws. You just have to find someone who's suited enough for you, who's right for you. It does not mean they're not flawed. It does not mean they're perfect. It just means you can get along with them and you like them enough to try and put effort into your relationship. And they won't be perfect, and you have to accept that. You have to accept that you won't get everything that you want if you have that long bucket list. And I've mentioned this in like a past video that like you can have your standards, you can have your non-negotiables, a few non-negotiables, but you can't be unrealistic. You can't fantasize too much or romanticize too much because otherwise you won't get anything. You won't get anything because there's a very low chance you'll get everything you want in one person. Which is also why I think you can't depend on your partner too much, because not everyone has everything you need. You divide yourself with your partner, your family, and your friends, and each of those people have certain qualities that better your life or worsen. I don't know, depends on your relationships really. Each like direction should have something that's good for you, and your partner will not have everything, but maybe your family does, or maybe your friends do have those qualities that you need to support you or whatever, or encourage you to live. I just believe that you need to find someone who's good, who's there, and who's present in your life, because you can't just fantasize all the time when eventually it might not happen. So why would you give up on this good person who might be presented to you, you know? I think that trying, being in a relationship without all those wishes, being open to different people might do you well, but of course, having your non-negotiables is also very much needed, because you need to know what you want. Otherwise, it might all crumble, or it might end up being a toxic relationship and not a very good one, not a relationship that might just better your life. And I feel like, for example, I personally will not be able to be with a person who is smoking, because that is honestly not something that I'd ever want to do, and I don't want it to affect my health. I don't want to hang out with people who do that, because, you know, people smoke next to you and then it gets into your lungs as well. That's just how it works. And also alcoholism. I would like for you to not get that close to me, thank you. So having your standards is good. Knowing how you want to live is good. But you can't really get everything in one person. Like, maybe there's this nice guy, but he's shorter than what you would like. He's maybe I don't know, a lot of girls want someone who is 6 foot, right? But maybe he's like 5'7", 5'8". I don't know. Would you say no to that if he fits everything except that? No, probably not. But I feel like also girls do have bucket lists, but they end up like dating people who are not in that bucket list because it's not very realistic at the end of the day. And you'll have to admit that. You just need someone who is willing to work with you on a relationship, and it does not drain you completely. Of course, being in a relationship also means you're ready for it. You need to be ready for it. Of course, it doesn't have to be perfect, because real life will never be perfect. There will never be a right time, but you just have to know what you want. If you truly desire it, you have to know that you're willing to work with someone for a good relationship, because that's what you want, that's what you need. And if someone is not willing to do that work, you'll know, oh, no thank you, I don't think we're gonna get along, and you're like, out of my life. And you really just need to define to yourself, what is a good relationship for you? Do you wanna date someone is gonna want to get married to you one day? Yes, or maybe not. Some people don't want to get married ever. Some people don't want to have children, and some do. You know, there's a lot of stuff to consider before getting into that. And if you know that you're meeting this person and like, oh, he's a nice guy, she's a nice woman, whatever. They're nice, they're cool. You have chemistry and you are kind of attracted to them. You have the same goal. Maybe you're a little different here or there. That's unavoidable. Why not try with that person? Even if they don't fit everything you want, it's fine. It's fine. You can work. You can work together towards whatever it is that you might need or want, you know? And if something is bothering you, a good relationship is where you can open up to that person and talk about it. That's what a good relationship is. If something is feeling wrong or doesn't feel like it's right with you, you'll be able to talk to that person if they're right for you. Nothing will be perfect at the start, and nothing will be ever perfect, but you can just be open with that person if they're right. I just feel like because of social media and movies and like love stories, we all got kind of brainwashed into thinking that we have this perfect partner out there for you, and we won't ever have to communicate and say, oh, this is bothering me, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's not a crime to tell your partner, oh, this is not feeling right for me, maybe we should try something else. That's communication, that's human. We're not characters in a story. We won't know everything about each other if we don't say it to each other, because everyone is different, everyone has different needs, everyone has different likes, and you just have to talk about it with each other to get to know each other. And eventually you will be in a point where you know each other so well that everything feels smooth. But sometimes, you know, there's always those challenges. There will always be challenges, and nothing is perfect. I personally grew up like reading manhwas about romance, and like there's this girl and guy that fall in love and they just know how to be there for each other. Sometimes it just doesn't happen because we all think different things, and you just have to tell this person, oh, I need you to be here for me, and like, oh yes, I will be here for you, and they actually try. It's all about the effort. It's all about building that skill, and it's something that I learned through the years and through listening to actual people talk about it. For example, this person named Alain De Botton, I actually don't know how to pronounce his name, but I watched a video of his which he talked about love being a skill and not just a feeling. It's something that you need to work with someone together, and not just being your feelings. We just romanticize relationships so much that we think that certain things are not romantic anymore, like talking about money or talking about our direction in life. It's not very romantic, but it's necessary for real life relationships. Those high standards we have, certain people have at least, truly ruined our perspective on love, because nowadays it's all about playing this certain game of, if this person doesn't do it, I won't do it. If this person doesn't show interest, then I won't. Why is it that we need to be scared of showing interest? Why is it that we need to be scared of being the first one, of being the one who approaches? Look, like, sure, it is scary. I admit it would be scary for me too, but I am personally someone who did do first steps, who did do those, because I feel like you shouldn't really stop yourself if you like someone. And if they say no, yes, you have to respect that. You have to respect and say, oh, all right, That's fine. I'll just move on with my life. That's something we have to learn. But just hiding yourself will not do you any good. And if you're shy of making that first step, or you don't believe in it, a lot of women don't believe in making that first step. So just showing interest, just showing the person that you're interested in what they're saying or interested in being in their environment or whatever would suffice, would be good. You just have to show your interest. You can't just ignore someone and expect them to be like, oh, she likes me, or oh, he likes me. You can't expect that. You can't expect them to come out of nowhere and confess their love to you when you don't show any interest. Like, I just feel like it's also a part of the fantasy we have, that we expect someone to just come out of nowhere and be like, oh, I like you, marry me. You have to work for it. You have to like feel like someone. Why wouldn't you want to show it to them? Because you have a pride, you have a certain pride that you're a woman or that you're a man, and you're like, oh, I won't do that first step even though I like them, even though I want to get to know them. Why wouldn't you? It's just something that I have been questioning lately. You don't have to like be like, oh, I like you. Even though being honest is good, some people are too shy to do it, or like it just embarrasses them. But just showing your interest is not something that you should hide. Being vulnerable will help you in the future with your relationships. So why wouldn't you be vulnerable right now? Why would you be like, oh, I kind of like you, I vibe with you, do you want to hang out, whatever. You know, it's not that hard. It is a little bit hard, I will admit, because, you know, anxiety and whatever, a lot of people experience anxiety nowadays. I do too, but you have to try and get out of that box, in my opinion. A lot of people are looking for people with money. You want to get in a relationship with someone, why are you looking at their money? Of course, you don't want to marry a broke person who wastes their money on gambling or whatever, but you know, if the person works, he has ambitions, you have ambitions, why is it that you need them to make a certain amount of money? Are you just planning on using them for their money? Is that it? Like, you need to take care of yourself. You don't need someone else to take care of you, even though it is nice. But if you're 20, 21, 22, like, people don't make a lot of money that age. A lot of people don't. But a lot of us are just working normal jobs, doing our day-to-day life stuff, studying maybe, going to college, and might not be able to make all that money. And if it's really important to you, then you go, you do you, but I don't feel like expecting someone to make a certain salary is right. They're not responsible for you and your life and your lifestyle. They don't need to pay for anything. Why would you expect them to? I mean, it is nice, I do admit, but you'll have to take care of yourself. You don't need to look at someone else's money for that. Be responsible for yourself, You don't need a random guy you're flirting with or whatever paying for your lifestyle, your nails, your clothes, your hair. Maybe your future husband will. But you know, I feel like everyone finds their match at the end of the day. If you want someone to pay for your stuff, you might meet that person, but I just feel like a lot of people do prefer money of real love. I do understand it. This world is really rough, but I feel like if you work together with someone you love, why wouldn't you survive in this world? Why wouldn't you thrive? I feel like it's not the main thing you should focus on. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to accept that love is not just a feeling, it's actually putting effort. It's working together with a partner on continuing to choose each other to really build that trust, build that love, and build that relationship. Because it's not just the feeling of love that's involved, and it's not like those comics you read or mangas or whatever, TV series. And it's something I feel like if we accept, then a lot of people would be in a much better place in their relationships, and they would find people who actually suit them, because they understand that they can't just give up after the feeling, the spark is lost. Because, you know, you chose this person for a reason if you did, or you will choose a person for a reason. You eventually feel like their presence is normal. You see them, you talk to them every day, so it just becomes the norm. So the excitement just goes down, but it doesn't mean that they're not suited for you. It does not mean that you don't love them. It's just building that skill, understanding that there's more to it than a feeling. You need to put effort.